cool. Hmm. Yeah, there's some monkey looking niggas, some cyclops looking niggas, yeah, some crazy looking niggas, bro. Hmm. If I exotic hairstyles is funny. If I didn't pick the robot I picked, I probably would have picked the second one because that nigga looks cool too. The first one looks pretty basic, but the second one, machines, just machines. Yeah, it's DLC. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, I started the broadcast on YouTube, so my gamer tag is my YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. It's actually pronounced Easy Sign, but everybody pronounces it like that. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. Maybe because I didn't hyphen it. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? All right. So, mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta go to your downloadable content and then activate whatever DLC you have. Oh, I do actually. Why is my... Hold on. Are you... Let's see. Hmm. I guess just lower the volume because I can't... I don't know how to worry with that. Um... Right. So... Right, so I'm gonna just load a random save data. I have two races. This is my first attempt. Second attempt went a little better. The third attempt is really, really good. Still active right now. I'll just go in the first one. Alright, so here we are. So I was building... I don't remember what I was doing here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Planets. So press right on the D-pad, you go into the outliner, right? You don't need to have planets open, it's just going to take up space. Sectors doesn't need to be open. Star bases don't really need to be opened. This is all you really need right here, right at the beginning. Military fleet doesn't even need to be opened either. None of this shit needs to be opened. The only thing you need in the beginning is shipyard and civilian ships. That's it. All this faction shit, you don't need none of that shit. Yeah, just factions and like the options, but you don't need none of that shit. Alright, so you click on your science ship, The way how this game works, it kind of just shows like when you go on the thing, it'll kind of illuminate where that ship is in the system. If you look at the map, you'll see like yeah, you'll see it just popping up over the place. So that's how you know where your ships are at, right? So I'm going to explore with this ship, this science ship, because it's at the end, right? It's over here. Click it, survey. That's how you survey systems. Go to the construction ship. You press square, right? All with the construction ships, always press square because that's like a chain order. So that means it's gonna build the outpost. And when you're building mining stations, sometimes it's like 3 or 4 mining stations you need to build in that system. It's gonna build all 4, like all of it at once. So always press square with the construction ships when you're selecting the system, right? Build Starbase. Now you gotta mind your resources at the top because building Starbases costs a lot of resources in the beginning. So you gotta take it slow because you need those resources not only to build the Starbases, but you need those resources to go in your colonies and build buildings so your workers could start producing resources for you, right? So that's the basics of expanding, right? That's how that works. It's paused right now, so it's not going. I'm gonna let it go so you could see them move and stuff.
Construction complete.
All right, down at the bottom here, it'll tell you your alerts. Like I have minus credits right now, so it's telling me about that. It's telling me that my population is unhappy because I have a lot of workers that don't have jobs. Um, that's all stuff that it's that's really complicated, so I'm not gonna get too deep into that, even though it is something you're gonna want to know. Oh,
Situation log
the
updated.
surface. This is your planet. This is what your colony looks like. This is where you manage your colony and what structures you have, what your colony is gonna produce, how many workers you have. Like this is where you would see that. Oh, up here, these. These are like
Research complete.
how many of these buildings in these types you could have. That's what those squares are. Yeah. So you could have
Construction complete.
no on this one planet. Every planet has every colony has its own system, its own like setup like this. So your colony just needs to grow. They just needs to make more, have babies. Like it's all about population growth. 10 population. And so on and so forth. Yep.
Special project complete.
It's 5. You see at the top where it says planet status, it has like a little blue snowman looking thing. That's the population. You see the little blue snowman looking thing with the 5 next to it? Oh, is it? Yeah, that's why I wanted to share play. It would have been way easier because then there would be no lag. You could see exactly what I'm talking about. So that's how much pops, they call it pops in this game for short, but that's how much population you have for this particular planet, right? So this is where you would go to build buildings. Now, building buildings is a fucking art form because you can't just go building shit willy-nilly. You got to know what you need. You got to know exactly how much of it you need, and you got to plan that shit out so you know, okay, I'm gonna build this and then build something else to help that later on. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of like economical management. It's a lot. So right now, what I need is energy, which is the lightning bolt at the very top in the resources tab up there. You see how it's like minus, it's in the red. I got -7.
System
That
survey
means
complete.
that I need to make more energy. So I need to make an energy grid on this planet that'll help all your resources pools into the empire. So
Research complete.
each planet adds to the empire's resources. So it's not like each planet has its own sectional resource. It's all in one pool.
Research
So that's
complete.
good. So I'm gonna build the energy grid, but you gotta be careful of things like upkeep. If you look at the right hand side of the page, you would see energy grid. Well, it's probably blurry, so you can't even probably read it that well. See how it's planet limit 1. I can only have 1 energy grid per planet, right? You see the 360, which is how many days it's gonna take to build. 200, the diamond looking thing, which is your minerals, right? That's how much it's gonna cost to build it. Yeah, right? Upkeep, which is how much monthly resource is going to take to keep the building running, which is 1 lightning, 1 energy, which is nothing because the base itself makes 4 energy. You'll see job-based production is 4 energy. Basically, yeah. But besides that, it also adds jobs. You see how it says technician job? And it adds 1 job. And I have a bonus from this building where my technicians, which is like some of my other workers, I'll get 15% more energy from them. Now, as I said that, let me go over to population. Right, once that finished builds, you'll see one of these unemployed workers. You see how I'm on my, I don't know if you're seeing where I don't know how bad the lag is, but
Construction complete.
right. So, see here now. Right. So you see how because the building finished built and I had that 1 technician job, one of the unemployed workers became a technician, right? It does it all. All you gotta do is set it up and let time run, and things will like right now I have time on max speed, so that's why 360 days went by like that. It finished built, the technician got his job, right? So because I have a plus 15% production on my technician from that building, the technician instead of producing 4, he's producing 5. Like you'll see. If you watch a technician, it says 5 energy instead of 4, how much it originally was, right? Because I have that bonus from the building. So that's how that whole population things works. Now you need to make more buildings to employ more people. Now the problem is, right? At some point, you are not going to be able to employ all the people on your planet, right? And that's an issue I haven't really figured out yet. The most you could do is when like the population gets too crazy and there's too many unemployed people, like a message will pop up saying that you need to like either pay them more resources to calm down or say let them fuck it and go crazy, right? Um, they won't die. I wish they would. Shit. I wish there was a way to. I think there is a way to purge, like your like cleanse some of your colony people out. I think there's a way to do it, but well, whatever determines there's a way to do it. I'm sure. Oh my god, nigga, shut the fuck up. Hmm. Fucking floaters. But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of how that works. You build buildings. Your population grows. You unlock more space to build more buildings. You give them jobs, you manage your resources, your planetary resources like that, pretty much. That's pretty much all you're really need to know. I mean, there's armies too on each planet. Multiple colonies at once is definitely the way to go. Definitely the way to go. Like I have another colony over here. Yeah, everything consolidates for the empire. Like your resource tab on top is the consolidation of all your resources over the entire empire. From every source, from every worker, every building, every mining base, every solar system that you have under your empire, all your resources goes to that's everything on top over there. Right. So that's like the planetary colony quick tutorial, right? Um, what should I do next? Well, I'm done with civilian ships for now, so I'm gonna close this off. Military fleets, I'll get into that in a second, because that's a lot. I guess I'll do the star bases, because that's important too. So every star base, when you first make it with the construction, it's like this. Everything is locked. It'll still produce stuff. You could still use it. You can make defense platform to help protect it if in case it gets raided. I recommend only making these. Sorry, go ahead. No, you gotta upgrade it. It unlocks the slots, yeah. So I could upgrade this one. Just to show you. The defense platforms, I recommend only making these at like the edges of your empire because you don't really need it in the in like. Okay, let me show you. Like you see how I stopped expanding, and this is probably where I stopped. I'm gonna use this one as an example. Right. So this is where I stopped expanding, right? Yeah, I will just use the science ships and go survey and then build another base and keep expanding. But I stopped here for now, right? And I'm trying to manage my resources, make sure I have everything in the plus, make sure everything is good. So because you don't want to over expand yourself, because then you'll start using up like all your bases, all your people will start using up more resources than you could produce, and you start going into negatives, and that's what you want. So every now and again you have to stop, take a back seat, let that shit build up. Make sure your colonies is producing well. Make sure you have like buildings. Make sure your army is good. Like you know what I'm saying. Every now and again you got to take stop and take a breather. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I stopped here. I'm chilling out for now, managing my resources. Right. I'm not gonna explain it anymore. So this other colony, I don't want them to expand. This is like the only way they could get to me. The one at the top. This is the only way they could get to me. So in case they want to expand and declare war on me for some reason at some point, right? I don't want them to have easy access into my area. So I would
Construction
go into
complete.
here because it's the edge, go into this starbase, upgrade this starbase, and equip like weapons, upgrade the defense system. I would build the defense platforms and stuff, to help protect my station. Because the stations are really hard to destroy. If you have like a high power, like the number you see on the station right there, that's how strong the station is, right? So if you have a station that's like 3K plus, like it's pretty hard to destroy that system for any fleet, unless that fleet is like double its strength, right? So in one of the other games I was in, one of the enemies, they invaded my space and I couldn't get them out fast enough before the war ended, right? So they got to keep that one station in the middle of my area. They got to keep that shit, right? And they kept upgrading it until it became a citadel. It's like strongest form, and that shit has 30K like power. I could not touch that shit. I couldn't even get close to it in my system. So I couldn't even like take it back over, I mean, where I'm at now, I have enough military power because I have 5 fleets and they each have like 15K each. So I could go, but I would lose a lot of ships, and it's not worth it. They could have that one thing. Fuck it. You gotta like, there's a lot of pros and cons. A lot of shit is going on. Right. So that's that. That's the Starbase little tutorial. Anytime you're gonna stop for a while, stop expanding for a little while because you want to build your resources, build more buildings or whatever. Put up a starbase, get your defenses going because niggas is crazy. Right, so that's that. So now back to the star map. The star map kind of helps you a lot,
complete.
even if you don't notice. Because okay, let me see. I know there's a lag, so I'll wait. I'm hovering over the system called Krant right now. Let me know when you see that. Oh my god, get out of my face. Right. So, over the system Krant, right, you see like 3 of the energy, the lightning bolt, and 3 of the minerals, right? That's how many resources that system can produce, right? When you put down the mining thingy, right? When you see a plus, like the numbers are green and you see a plus next to it, that means you already have a mining or research station dealing with that, right? And just from a glance, if you notice, oh my god, get out of here. Right. So what was I saying? Right. So damn, what was I saying? Right. So the if you notice, what the fuck was I saying? I completely lost. That shit just threw me off. Right. So you see how I'm not hovering over it anymore, but it still shows up as those resources, like the resources are still there. That also tells me that I need to put mining there. Like if you look, the other systems around it, they don't have the resources showing up. Like on the left over here, they don't have it showing up just just there because I already have something there. So that's how you know, okay, you need to send a construction ship over there. That system needs a thing. If you zoom out, you don't see it, but when you zoom in, you automatically see the resources that these systems, especially at the bottom, the resources that these systems here produce. You only see them because I don't have a construction ship there. If I had a construction ship there, I would have to hover over it to see the resources. So that's like a little quick thing to say, okay, yeah, I need to go over there because I have resources that I'm not using and I'm not getting. I need to go over there and put a thing. So that's like a quick little thing that'll help you out a lot in knowing what you need to do next. And let's see. All these systems that have like the red Earth looking symbol on it, those are habitable planets in those systems, but they're not good for me. You know, like I could put people there, but they'll suffer, basically. You're looking for yellow at the least and green at the best. And if you hover over the symbol, it'll tell you, if you look at the bottom right, it says habitable planet, but there's only a 20%, like, yeah, basically. Yeah, but when you start a new colony, it starts off at 1. Like it's kind of a waste of resources to send a whole colony just to die. It's just a waste. And then they'll be unhappy, and then they'll bring down your economic value and all these other things, you know. So it doesn't make sense. Okay, so this one is yellow over here. So you see there's a, where is it? Oh, there's a yellow planet over here. This one is a little more habitable, 60%. This one is okay, 60% you could do, nothing less than 60%. Every race has its own like criteria for the kind of planets they're able to inhabit and whatnot. Right, so I covered the outliner, I covered colonies on planets, I covered the system map a little bit. You see how he expanded? This other thing? See, that's why you put this base down. If you know you're not gonna expand, you put that base down, so you're already, if in an event he wants to attack. You know? He expanded just from that little space of time, he expanded all the way down here. So you gotta be real careful with that shit. I have it going fast so you can see things happening quickly. But I don't care about the save data. I'm not using it anymore, so it doesn't matter to me. Alright, so I covered the outliner, covered the space stations, covered the planets, the colonies, covered the map. Alright, let's go down to the alerts again. So like I said, I'm in minus with the energy again, so I have this pop up. Some of my... pretty much. Yeah, definitely. That's what you would want to do. You're gonna, like I said, you're gonna be in the alerts tab at all times, pretty much. Anything you see pop up there, it's important. So this kind of like Phantom of the Opera looking symbol, that's your traditions. That's important, but that's like a secondary thing that you just need to pay attention to. So when you click it, it'll open up the traditions menu. These are like passive buffs that your empire could get, right? Definitely when you start the game off, your first thing should be expansion, because that'll help you, expand in the beginning a lot. When you look at it, it'll tell you like what perks it's gonna give you. It's gonna make my population go quicker. It's gonna reduce my starbase upkeep, like how much resources the starbases use to stay open. It's gonna increase. I don't know about the administrative capacity thing. I think that's just like your economy. Maybe it helps your economy or whatever. I don't know. Starbase influence. I'll get into the influence and shit in a minute. Your policies is basically what your empire accepts and doesn't accept. Militarized economy. Oh shit, I didn't mean to come out. Food policies, border status, open or close if you want other colony or other races to come into your space. If you're gonna attack them when you see them, if you're gonna be peaceful, just like empire-wide doctrines, basically. That's what that shit is. Edicts is passive bonuses that you could put on using your resources. So say like how my energy is in the negative right now, I could buy this edict, right? it'll increase my energy creation by 20%. Right? So you see how I bought it and immediately my energy went up. Well, it seems immediately, but a month passed. Every month, um, these things rotate. So I'm getting plus 14 energy every month. Right? That's how that shit works. So Edis is just like passives that you put on using your resources and stuff. Now this purple resource here is very important. Right? This is influence. That's what the resource is called. Influence is used on a lot of things. It's used to create star bases. It's used to claim other bases when you're at war from other colonies. It maxes out at 1,000. So definitely, like, just keep your eye on it. If it maxed out, just go buy it, eat it, just so you know you're not wasting resources. Because when something is maxed out, you're just wasting resources at that point. Because it doesn't like have a spillover or anything. You're just wasting resource, and that's not what you want to do. I could actually get a little more expansion. Okay, all right. So that's that. That's the. If you want to access this from not the alerts menu, you would press left on the D-pad, and you would go over to the same symbol, the society symbol, the Phantom of the Opera symbol, and that's how you would get to there. Going back to the alerts, these little magnifying glass symbols are very, very, very important. They're definitely like the most top 3 symbols that you need to pay attention to in this game, right, Wagwan? This nigga's not listening at all. Never mind, you're useless. I could tell. So these magnifying symbols are your research. Right? You have 3 research tabs. These are very, very, very important. This is how you unlock everything, pretty much. This is how you increase your naval capacity, which increases how many ships you can have. This is where you increase your starbase capacity to show you how much to increase the amount of starbases you could own. I actually need this because I have too many starbases. So I'm going to exit that real quick and go to the top in the resources and show you. So you see how I have 7 star bases, but I'm only allowed to have 6. Because I went over how many star bases I'm allowed to have, it's going to cost me 25% more resources to keep those bases. So you'd never want to exceed your limits at all. You always want to keep expanding your limits in this game. All right? So I just use the resource that increases the amount of star bases I can have. So that'll fix itself whenever it's done. Right. Oh, I can research new ships. This is where you get your ships from. So you see you have 3 different tabs, 3 different researches that researches different things. You have to assign scientists to them because if your race is not immortal, like mine's, they'll die and you have to replace them. Select research. This is how you research new buildings, upgrades for buildings, so you could get more jobs and more resources going. This is where you get the upgrades for your ships. Everything, literally, your upgrades and everything for everything comes from research. So anytime you see that magnifying glass at the bottom, get that shit going. Put something to research. Anything, but just put something to research. Just research everything you can. Research is not free. There is a resource for it. It's over here. The little microscope little symbol. That's where the resources for the research comes from. You see it there. Your physics, your society, and your engineering. Those are your 3 types of research. You don't really need to worry about that resource. That kind of just, as long as it's in the plus, you'll be fine. You don't really need to worry about that shit at all. It'll be fine. As long as you're like plus 100 at any given moment, you'll be all right. Well, I guess since I'm up here, I might as well show you the other resources. This is how many star systems you have, how many colonies you have, your entire population for your entire empire is up here. How many ships you have and how many you can have. Empire Sprawl, which is just like a general stat sheet of your whole empire. Unity is important because that's what you use to get the passives from the traditions. You get unity from jobs, um, like on how happy your people are. You get more unity. Um, the influence again, you get that from factions when you have different
Research
factions in
complete.
your empire. Um, this is the special resource page. You don't really need to worry about this at all early game. It's only when you get to like a couple hours in, a lot of ships, buildings, upkeep uses these rare resources. So, but you don't really, like I said, you don't need to worry about that right now. When you'll be able to research buildings that could produce these, and you'll be able to research the ability to mine it from natural resources over in the systems, because some systems have these resources. It's a special thing you got to research, but you'll see it eventually. Alloys, it's probably your best friend. Alloys, minerals, and energy are the three main things that you're gonna need. You're gonna need food if your people eat. Robots don't eat, so I don't have to worry about that. But I still make food because I use it to create more energy. Um, oh my god, get out of here. Alloys is one of the most important resource, if not number one resource you're going to be using in this game. You use alloys to build ships. You use alloys to build star bases. You use alloys to upgrade ships and star bases, and it costs a lot. So you want to have like at least plus 60 alloys, like mid to late game minimum, bare minimum. Like you want it higher than that, but bare minimum, you want that shit to be at plus 60 at any given moment because you're going to need a lot of that shit. Consumer goods is, like I said, if your population eats, you're going to need this. You could get this from jobs too. You could make jobs for that on the planets. Food, same thing. You can make jobs for that on the planets.
Research complete.
Minerals. There's only two ways to get minerals. Well, three ways. Trading. You can get into trading with other colonies, other empires. I don't trade. I'm all self-sufficient. I'm not about that trading life. There is a market. I know, because you're a bitch ass nigga. Anyway, you could also get it. Shut the fuck up. I'm not going to explain this shit. Anyway, so you could get minerals from mining it in the systems. Systems that have minerals. I mean, most systems has minerals. And you could build buildings on one building per planet that produces minerals and then upgrade it or whatever. Yeah, I know it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of explaining. My fucking mouth is dry. It took me 3 days to fully get a grasp of this game, bro. You're not gonna get it all at once, but I want you to have like an idea. All right, energy credits. That shit. Everything pretty much uses energy. Your ships, your stations, your star bases, buildings, districts, leaders, population, everything uses credits. That's literally the common currency. So you definitely always want a plus on that. Always at least plus 25 where it's at now, because then
Research
you'll
complete.
always have. So that's the resource tab, right? So I covered outliner, resource tab, alerts, systems, all that shit, all that good shit. Well, I guess let's go into the empire management, the last tab. So you go into government, you could see all your stats, what mods you have. That's not important. None of this shit is important. This is not important. So you're not going to be in the government tab to really do anything, really. Contacts is going to show you the empires that you've encountered and how much stronger they are compared to yourself. All of them are overwhelming because I'm not building anything. I'm not using this save data anymore, so they're all stronger than me. It'll tell you how much power stronger their army is, their military, their fleet, the economic power, which is their resources, and the technology level, which is how much things they researched, basically. Situation log is like your your log from No Man's Sky. That's where all your like your missions, all your like little things to do. It's self-explanatory. You don't need to worry about that. Um, like technology, this is how you get into your technology. Market. Now, only use the market in extreme circumstances, because the market is not your friend, even though it seems like it. It's not. If you're running out of resource and you desperately need resource, you could buy it with energy if you have enough energy. I only recommend buying resources in short bursts. Like if, say how I'm out of consumer goods, I'll just go buy some consumer goods real quick just so I have. You know, it's just a temporary like band-aid on the situation. But if I really need a resource to do something, I'll just go buy a handful of it real quick, right? But I still need to solve the problem. You could set up automatic trades, which is basically like every month rotation, you'll sell how much ever sell or buy whatever resource you need every month automatically. So you don't have to keep going back to the market to keep, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, that's just a band-aid, because eventually if you keep buying and selling every month, you're gonna kind of like fuck up the market. So things that wasn't expensive will get expensive, and things that were cheap will, you know what I'm saying, like vice versa. You know, things that are expensive will get cheap, and you'll end up kind of fucking up the economy a little bit if you just constantly keep trading automatically from the market like that. So that's why I only do it if absolutely necessary. Um, you got this. You're only gonna be in this page if you have like a shit ton of colonies all over the place, like spread out. You're not gonna be here really doing anything. But when you first start the game, you do want to come to this tab, right? Because this is gonna be, you're gonna come down to your people, right? You're gonna go into it and you're gonna set a focus. Now set your focus to um production or manufacturing, one of the two. It depends on how you set up your race, like what perks they have, how much resources your race uses. Um, I set it to production for my robots because I need minerals and energy and food, because I use food to make more energy because I don't eat anything. So that's what I use it for. You could also set it to make more alloys and consumer goods. You know, if your race eats a lot, you could do that too. But I set it to production for the robots. I'll set it to this for that. And then that's it. You don't need to be in that page again. That page is whatever. We already went over society. People, you don't ever need to be in here either for anything. There's one thing you come to the species page for, but that's advanced shit. That's like you're gonna have to be in the game for like at least 10 hours before you even get anywhere near that shit. So don't even worry about that. You only use the war page if you're at war. Claims is if you're claiming specific areas you want to conquer when you're at war. Federation is when you're in an alliance with another empire. And that last one, don't worry about that shit. So last but not least, your fleet, your army. Now this is kind of complicated. It looks kind of complicated, but it's not that complicated. When you first start off the game, you come into the ship management, the ship whatever. You go across, you press R1 to ship designer. When you start off, you're gonna have a basic Corvette, right? Now, you can design your ship how you want, but I'm gonna show you how I did mine, so you have an idea. Cool. First things first, take off the auto-generate designs. Take that shit off, because that shit will fuck your whole fleet up. It's automatically on when you start the game. Take that shit off. Take off that. Go into your ship. I'm going into the first ship, my first Corvette. I have two different Corvettes, right? You come over here. Don't worry about all these stats shit on the left-hand side. Don't worry about that shit. Only thing you're worried about is, you see where it says missile boat? You click that and it'll show you the different types of, I guess, attachments you could put on the ship, right? Don't ever use the attachments that have the weapon slots for P. The picket ships, don't use that shit. Those picket weapons are trash. They're weak as shit. Don't put that shit on any ship. You always want S, M, L, and G, right? For the weapon slots. The utility slots is whatever. So this is a S and G. That means I have a short range weapon and I have like a rocket, right? These rockets do a lot of damage. It's a nuclear missile. You when you research, you'll unlock different weapons you could equip or whatever. And then the utilities is just like a shield buff, or armor buff. Oh shit! And an energy buff. Thank you. You go up here. These components, don't really worry about these too much. You'll research these and get stronger versions of it. When you come into your ship ever so often, when you research a lot of stuff, just come in and press autocomplete, and it'll like upgrade. It'll put the strongest version of whatever you have equipped on. Just for like a quick update for that. The only stat you need to pay attention to is this: the power. You don't want to have negative power. So you gotta each thing you put on takes up a certain amount of power. So you want that's the only stat you have to pay attention to when you're building a ship. I have a power reactor that gives me more power, so there's that. And put on the auto upgrade. So that means it'll try to automatically put on whatever is the latest upgrade you have. Then I have the interceptor. Same thing, you come in, you pick your type, whatever, put on your weapons, same old. And then you have the different kinds of ships. You have the destroyers, you have the cruisers. Then after cruiser is battleship, and after battleship is Titan. I think Titan is the last one. And then you have your defense platforms for the Starbase. You could, pick what you want, Like I said, don't ever pick the one that's P. Don't pick that shit because it's weak. And yeah, that's it for the ship designer. And then for the fleets, you start off with one. Sometimes random fleets pop up. Sometimes some Marauder fleets try to join your empire if your empire is big enough. If you get messed up in a fight, sometimes your fleets will separate and break off and make new fleets automatically because they got fucked up, so they just separated. When you're doing the fleet stuff, it's pretty self-explanatory. Create a new fleet, reinforce all, which means build more ships to bolster the defenses. Upgrade all, which is to upgrade them. It's pretty self-explanatory. You go into here, reinforce fleets, upgrade, add fleet design. So this is where you add your the different ships to the fleet. So I could put in cruiser, destroyer, corvette. I already have all of them in here. You press right on the right analog to increase the number of ships per type you could have in a fleet. But you also want to keep your eye on how many ships you could have, because you don't want to have too many ships either. Like, don't increase your fleet size so much that you go over your capacity. And the more ships you have, the more energy that shit is gonna take. So if you build like a giant army, you better have enough energy to support that shit, because that shit will go. I had a colony where that shit went to minus 400 and something energy, bro. Like, I couldn't maintain my own fleet because I had so many ships. So you gotta really be careful with that shit. Oh, this skull means that one of your people died, and you gotta replace them. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the basics. Like, there's a lot of other little smaller stuff, but that's pretty much the rundown. I know it was a lot. You're probably not going to retain all of that, but you'll get it as you go along. Cool? Oh, triangle. You hold triangle to speed it down or slow it up. You see at the bottom left how the arrows is like going up and down. You hold it down to increase or decrease. Just keep holding it down, and then triangle to pause it to stop it if you want to go research something, or if you want to go look at one of your menus and you don't want the game to progress. You just pause it. Just press it once, and then press it again when you're ready for it to go. When we're in the game, because Wagwan has that save data, he's the only one that's going to be able to speed up and slow down, but we could pause and play. But yeah, I think I did a pretty decent job of explaining that shit. I'm pretty surprised. Alright, so save whatever. Fuck it. Exit the menu, I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. Right, so I think you might be ready to go. Yes, no, maybe? Alright, let me end this damn broadcast.